new episode of the TypeScript Tea Time. I'm your host Mirko and hope you're having an awesome day so far. It's episode 70, even though until a second ago the description said 69. I gotta fix that. It would be nice if we could automate that it just counts up by one each time. That would be amazing. Nevertheless, we will continue on where we stopped last time. Before that, ever so shortly, so since Jijakan actually asked for TWAS last time, I did manage to fix it. I did manage to fix it. Our little game is working again. It doesn't have the persistence, but nevertheless, at least we can now easily play. If somebody again calls for the TWAS T-coupon not subscription, but what do you call these points? The channel points, channel point redemptions. What I'm looking for. Other than that, I do need this. So make TWAS work again is done, and we kind of were in the middle of adding multi-language support. We did the basic setup, so the initial setup is actually done. We also did the TypeScript setup to a, well, let's say, goodish, enoughish degree. We now have to do some more fun stuff. On the one hand, language detection automatically on the first app open, language setting and settings that gets used to change text strings, etc. So probably it will come up, and then okay. So Redux and persistence. I think that's the part that we will do first. And finally, we can translate all the fun stuff. So let's get into the persistence stuff. We already have the settings screen where we have a language select component. And it's basically a menu. So let's look at it. This button here is still slightly ugly styled, so we might want to confusing me. Button, props, style sheet, style sheet.create. Finally, that works. Button. Margin, I think we typically in this app we use margin button 12, if I'm not mistaken. That seems to be all right. Yeah. All right. So we have our switch, our menu, and we will see this dark mode here is currently the only text that is actually translated and localized. And as we can see, it does change into, well, if we put it on Japanese, dark mode, language, dark mode, English, Sprache, Nachtmodus, German word for. Which, nice. So this, we want to actually not only, let me see. I think we want this actually to be on an even higher level. Do we need Redux? Do we even need Redux in this case? Do we? I think we need it at that point where we want to determine whether the app was already started or not. We will be able to do some easy things here, for example, 18n.language, for example. If we add that one, and we look for this translation key, translation, okay. I think we can this syntax, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. And up here as well. And now we see EN, EE, and JA. Would be nicer to actually have it say English, Deutsch, or Nihongo, but well, for the very first attempt, it's not too terrible. Basically, this is the mapping from here to there, right? So might be able to do something about it. Const languages. Saying code to language. And we have en, which maps to the word English. And in this case, we do not actually want to localize it. That's why I'm doing it statically here. I'm not leveraging the library. Finally, a oh, it was capital letters, right? Oh no, the capital letters I think come from the button component just. So if we have this, can instead of using I18N language, we can do something like that. As key of what is the error? We probably have an implicit any. Yeah, okay. Because the string, it might be something completely different than EN, DE, and JA. But we can say to ignore this. Basically, I'm just ignoring it now. As key of lang code, key of type of lang code to language. That should work. But we still need for English pose if it's a default language. Oh no, wait, the default language is still English, so we should be good. Yep. There we go. Wamps. Then the next thing that we want to do. Still thinking about whether we need Redux persistence. So let's skip this for a moment. We already have the language setting to change the text strings. And this is in fact, it applies globally because the I18N object is a static, global static effect. So if, for example, we go to statistics, where do I want to go? Statistics. There it is. We can start translating some strings inside of here. Probably have to do somewhere up here. Const t is equal to use translation, and we want to use the type safe version. Did I use the wrong one? No, that's the correct one. Ah, never mind. This one doesn't take any arguments. And then down here, for example, this button has clear history, so we can do something like statistics colon clear history button clear history. And with this, we now have to move to the translations. Do not have statistics yet. Statistics, an object, and inside of there we want clear history, and we say, well, clear history just as the text. And now the important part, so that it actually uses statistics as well, is we have to add it to our translation keys so that the translation keys get this value here, which now we get auto completion here and type safety in particular. And we can remove this code, this text. Yeah. Then we have some type errors now. Well, they should be fairly easy to fix by history. What's the English, the German word for history in this case? Timeline. So there's a very nice page from Microsoft Translations or something. Very, very useful. Soft translations. Can't find that. Let's see. Let me go to Popularity. Awesome app. GitHub.com/ what? Oh, I can actually write that in small letters. In here, I think I have the link somewhere. Where's the link? Microsoft UI translation. Yeah, this is it. So if we say search history, for example, and we want to translate it into German. There we go. We can see which word they use, the Microsoft team uses in their specific projects. For example, in Skype, they look for protocol durchsuchen. In Windows 10 Mobile, they say Suchverlauf. In Skype iOS, and they use a different this one, and so on and so on. In this case, I just want the word history, I suppose. Versionsgeschichte, Verlauf. Historienprotokoll. Yeah, and with this you can basically have a very high level or high quality translation, I think. Of Protokoll. Yes, we use Verlauf. Verlauf. Löschen. And for Japanese, we also have to provide the statistics key. And we, in fact, get TypeScript support because we set it up yesterday. So, there we go. We have, and well, you're not really. Do we have like something like clear history? That would be. Oh yeah, Verlauf löschen. Do we use that? Verlauf löschen. Yes, perfect. Now we can just say, well, let's go to Japanese. And their suggestion is Rireki o Rekshi? Forgot the pronunciation. And oh, clear. Josa. Most of the time they use clear, so let's take that one. Bams. And with that, we should be able to see this side of here. So currently it says clear history. If I go to my language setting and I set it to, for example, Japanese, then we see it being translated. Sweet. Very nice. So that works without us having to do anything inside of Redux. Anything else inside of here? Statistics. You probably want to translate the default questions as well. Think about it. Translate default questions. So next, last 7 days, last 30 days, last 1 year, lifetime. This is going to be more complicated now, unfortunately. Because we use them as key. Last 7 days, for example. Japanese currently. So here we now have to do another mapping, I think. So we have the time spans. Where do we actually display the time spans? Here, apparently. So menu item. Oh, okay. We already have logic and visual the display separated. So I think what we can do is something like following. We need to, of course, use the T function. Const T is use translations, and we need to import it. Go. And now, what I want is, I think, this together with statistics colon, what he says. So these are now the keys: statistics colon last 7 days, statistics colon last 30 days, and so on. And we need to provide these keys now. Translations. Go to English first. So if you're in JavaScript and or TypeScript, and you want to provide a key with a space letter, you can provide it like this, by the way. And here we can say, well, last 7 days is exactly the term that we want to use. How does that translation stuff work? So we're using a library called i18next, which helps us with it. Essentially, you could build it yourself. The basic idea is you have a file of translations, as you can see here. So for example, in this case, we have the language as a key, DE, and then we have values like dark mode, which then map to the translated key. And in the very, very simplest case, you would have a function, let's call it t or translate, and you give it the key de.translation.dark mode, and then it picks this value out of this translations object, and then depending on the language, you would have something like this dot language kind of thingy. I suppose that's how it works under the hood. If you really wanted to build it yourself, so you have somewhere a value, a global variable that is the language. Then you pick the one that is correct and then reverse to get the correct value, the correct translation. In our case, that makes... No, I didn't build it myself, but that's how I would build it. That's how I would build it, at least. Maybe they probably do much more in particular, because they even allow you to do it asynchronously. They allow you to pull the translations from a website, for example, or like some file storage on the internet, and then only load those translations that you actually need, and maybe a fallback, so that the bundle size gets smaller. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do. It also has fun stuff that in my simple version, you wouldn't be able to do something like templating. So in this case, let's see, up here, it would say language : and then the variable that you provide as language, which is nation : language. Yeah, I provide the language. So for example, hello. And then it looks at the variables inside of this string and replaces them with, what did I say? Language hello. So the key that will be displayed is this now inside of the app. And maybe look at it. And that's stuff that this library also handled for you, as you can see here. Probably want to revert this so that it actually shows, in this case, English, yeah. Or for Deutsch, it says Sprache Deutsch, which is kind of obvious, but still. Yeah, so these libraries help you with that. I18 Next, in case of web development, is definitely one of the fairly well-known ones. So I18N means internationalization, and Next is just their naming. There are a lot of internationalization libraries. Apparently, awesome list. Oh yeah, what else as well? Libraries here, as you can see. So acronyms. There is a lot, as you can see. I18N Ally. There's also I18N JS as a library. They all pretty much do the same, just ever so slightly different, I guess. Other libraries actually integrate fairly smoothly with their translation services, in particular, that they provide. So if you're actually building a commercial app, that might be something that you might want to look out as well. These commercial services, so that you, as developers, you do not have to care about translations anymore. Basically, you just do the setup, and then translators, actual people who have learned translation, making translations, and are very, 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 very proficient in the specific language, can do the translations. Last 1 year. So that I'm now doing the English translations here, which are, as you can see, pretty boring because it's just the same key. Also, welcome, Jade the developer. How are you doing? Thanks for the question. How is your morning? Oh, it's about lunchtime already here. So we can now take all of these and put them into German and Japanese so that we have the errors at least fixed. Letzte 7 Tage, ja. Let's test. Okay. How do you translate lifetime? Oh, we're in. That's fine. Yuki Keegan. Is that right? Dash lifetime. Yuko. Okay. Yeah, let's take that one. For Japanese. And we can also set this to German as well. Would be nice to have multiple at the same time. Yeah, or you can just flick it with one click. Lebensdauer. Oh yeah, okay. I see. Lebensdauer. We also have like last 7 days. Yeah, nice. And let's go back to Japanese. So we can fix those translations as well. Kakko hinai. Saigo no. We definitely need this one. And I guess we take this food. Then we can list 30 and Kakoi Ichi. And then Japanese writing not working. And then Jinenkan. Jinen inai. Jinenkan inai. Last 1 year. Oops. Bad. Last year. That's a different one. Last. Yeah, well, let's remove this part then, I guess. And with that, we should be good. I hope so, at least. Let's look at the statistics. We have lifetime, we have... Oh, the keys are shown. Did I forget to wrap it inside of the T function? Language select. Here. Title. Statistics : time span. Is the T function not working? I imported the correct instructions. Statistics colon last 7 days. What if we provide I have a feeling the T function is not working at all. What do we have? Statistics, clear history. Let's take that one for, yeah. So this one now shows clear history, and it seems to be translated as well. What is weird? Yeah, so that it seems to be working, but it doesn't like this. Is it because of the spaces? Did I save properly? Reload, maybe? Is it because of the spaces? That would be pretty annoying. Right. There's 7 days. So that should fix that one. We go to time select. Now this one not allowed anymore. We change these up here as well. Will it work now? It would be really, really annoying. Oh, now it works. White space character is apparently forbidden in IAT next. IAT next. White space. E with white space. Apparently it should be working. Is it a dot or is it a colon? Here we use colon, right? In clear history. Yeah. So it should be a colon. What do I use in this old app? Go to any file, home maybe. Home screen, not the test screen. E off. Home colon, yeah. I use colons as well. Apparently it doesn't like the that's annoying. I mean, we can do it like this, and now we have to do it anyway. Translate this friend here as well. This is and this 6 colon. Now it looks correct. Internally, we now use the number without space, but whenever we display it, which is on this button and inside of this list, it is actually using the translations library, which, well, it works, but it is kind of what I feared we needed to do, and I hope we didn't need to. For whatever reason, the spacing didn't like the spacing, the white spaces. that's just how life goes. So that done, I think we can just set it to, whoops, not that one, to German, for example, and we should be able to see Lebensdauer. Letzte 7 Tage, letzte 30 Tage, letztes Jahr. I guess. Vergangenes Jahr. Letztes. I guess we. Sweet. And if we change it, oh, it doesn't update. Why not? Why you no update anymore? Darn. Nothing updates anymore. Oh, that's interesting. That seems to be working. That does not anymore. Why not? No, we broke it. Why? Is time spans used? Time span selector. Time span. Ah, because we have TypeScript errors, which we unfortunately do not see inside of Expo. So here, time span needs to use those guys. And here we also need to use the one without space. Oh, what have I done? View, welcome back. Daily stream every day. Well, if you're having fun, you do the same thing again, right? Thanks to you guys. So, as I said, I won't be streaming tomorrow and a couple of days after that. The earliest I will be able to stream again is, I suppose, Saturday. But I don't even know whether I will stream on a Saturday. But now it should be, we should be good, I think. We fixed the TypeScript errors, hopefully. Yes. Which is TSC no emit, running the compiler. And everything is green. Now we have last 7 days, it looks alright. Click 30 days, it looks alright. We click last 1 year, it does update. We have a lifetime. So that is just as it was before. Now if we switch to German, for example, should be able to see Lebensdauer here, exactly. Let this 1 Jahr, just kind of a weird wording. Letzte 30 Tage. And it just works. And 7 days, we do not have any data for the last 7. How are you doing on this early Monday morning, kind of? Did you get into your work week well? Kako 30, Sanju Nichkan works. You can also remove that one. Nice, it works. Sweet. So that one's done. We have those translations, which were kind of part of the more complex ones because we use them as keys as well. For whatever reason, the translation library didn't allow us to use white space character, but well, I can live with it. If it's only that much of a problem, then I'm get cool with it. So let's translate some more stuff, I guess. Or did we? Where were we? Use language to translate everything. During li labels, translate default questions. Yeah, so this is, we kind of get the idea of how to do this. I think this is pretty much a chore from now on. Most of it at least. So we might as well switch to something more interesting. Here we can at the very least say feature, statistics, translations. Translate. Yeah, I will just go through more of this as we find the time. But it's nothing too complicated. Basically, I'm just switching out the text here with a T of that fun stuff, and then write the translations. That's all there's to it. Partially translate to EE and JA. So instead, what I want to do is do the language detection, because this one is slightly more interesting. And this might be the point where we need to go the Redux route, but I'm not sure yet. So my I18N, inside of here, we can provide an object which is a language detector, and this friend here has to have a very specific form, like so. So we need this type at the very least. So these are basically middlewares for our translation library I18Next. If you work with Express, you might be able, you might know what I mean by that. Basically, you just, before you do the real work, you put in in the middle between your call and the real work, you put in other pieces of code that do stuff, and maybe also after the real work. Very, very common in at very least Express.js. So if we have this, do we have any other stuff? No, we don't. I think I will. We find this in the documentation. I18Next language detector. Browser. We want to write our own. Does this one help us? No? So we need some specific keys that we need to find. I know where to find them, but I hope to also find them in the documentation somehow. Language detector, universal, Node.js and browser, blah, blah, blah. React Native async storage. That would work. And when we get away from Expo, oh, the danger zone. You can pass a callback function. That seems to be working. Use async storage plugin, detect user language. That might be something that we want. No, it's current. Okay. At least the license, which they created 5 days ago. Okay. Used by a couple of people. So we might want to try this. And then we don't need to go the complete route of using using Redux for persistence. Although I'm still not sure how do we save this. No, it should be fine. It should be fine. It saves it via async storage. So we're good on that front. I hope. What do you guys think? Shall we just use the library or build it ourselves? Which we can absolutely do. VOJ, what do you think? Have some fun coding or have some fun configuring? So, let's see. You are language. Okay, this is how it needs to be, apparently. Async storage plugin. How well used is this? PM. That's published 2 years ago. Oh, that's not great. Because it might use the old React Native async storage, unfortunately. But I don't know. There's some issues. Async storage is undefined. Great. Okay. Let's build it ourselves. It's not that hard, fortunately. If you know the values. Constant. We need these two definitely. So we mark this detect function as asynchronous. And then we get this callback function. In it, I don't know whether we need these two. Can try to not have them. But they don't do anything. And with localization, we want to use expo localization. Do we have this inside here already? No. Y expo install expo localization. Go. Maybe expo localization provides even a guide. What to detect languages. Detect face detector. No, that's not it. What? Then we can import that one. Why only refers to a type but just being used value. Well, I guess we need this one then. From expo localization. Okay, so expo localization gives us it acts as basically the operating system of your Android phone, and then gets us the locale string. I think our library already handles. If we get en-us, it still takes en and so on. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Let's hope. Let's hope. And we can use this one. So this should give us language detection already. In case we start the server, we change our language, and we remove everything. So, never mind, we don't need to remove anything. because we don't persist anything yet. So let's go here, we go to languages, and I want to switch to a different language. German. Because is the server still running? Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. Init is not a function. Okay, we have to call init apparently. Init, no operation. Def. Open it. And now what we should be able to see is that it automatically picks German as a language, or it crashes. Maybe it doesn't. Apparently we need cache user language. All right, got it. We also just take done. No operation. It didn't do it. It didn't do the thing. Yeah, it says dark mode. So what are we doing wrong? What is the value? This function log detect called comma locale. If we reload, it doesn't even call the function. Get rid of that part. Is the order important? You just say you. Get current locale async. Place this by that one. Okay. Let's double check what I was doing here. Here I use a language detector and then I use the other one. Can we even chain these? Is that even a thing? Yeah, it does return the I18N. We should be able to chain. Then why is this function not called? Is it because of the async? I think we need maybe. Oh, we have. That's a different error, right? Yeah, that's the cache user language. Okay. Why is this function not called? I18 next plugins. Creating own plugins. So you have type language detector. There we go. Ah, here's the documentation to write these kind of thing. You should call with your language useful to retrieve your language stored in async storage, for example. Okay. So we probably want to have a link to this at the very least. Then init is a function of services, detect options, and I18 Next up. A, B, C. Do I actually get proper values for these? No. Can I type this as language detector or something? Language detector module. Async module. Nice. Use detector language in user land. Can we provide it to a singleton as a singleton or as a prototype constructor preferred for supporting multiple instances of I18 next? Singletons set property type to language detector. We can do a singleton. For prototype constructor set static property. Seems to be alright. So this is now type, but it does not do anything. Here we get language log which. So we do get cached user language. We do get a call to init. It's very, very long. Question is why does it not call init called? Oh, okay. Cache. Okay. So let's reload. User lang is called, Android running. The detect is never called. Why is detect not called? Why does it not call detect? Callback of DE used the async tag. Yeah, that's basically what we do. Callback of locale.locale. Except that this function is never called for whatever reason. We do include it. What do I do different here? We can use code, names, default namespace. Resources, compatibility, resources, fallback language, debug. Use this debug flag maybe. No. We should just call init once. Language changed to English apparently. Initialized object. Running app. Update missing. Why does it not call the detect function? What else do I have in here? Location provider. This also doesn't do anything with the detection. Why? Where? What? So why does this, is this not being called the way that we want it to be called? That's the big twist. Favorite. The use function is there to load additional plugins to IIT Next. For available modules, see the list, the plugins list, and don't forget to read the documentation of the plugin. Yeah, we write our own, so no problem on that front. We also have language detector module, which now is this one called maybe at least? Would at least be slightly better than what we have, right? Turn localization.locale. We need to disable this flag apparently. Reload. Get user name called. We see detect called inside of here? No, not a single one. Not a single time. IIT Next. Detect not called. A language detector not working. Yeah. Is this the correct library? Yeah. Detection. Look up local storage language. Oh, because we hardcode en, it's not running. So language to use overrides language detection. Okay, let's not do that. Ah, it even says okay. If you're using a language detector, do not define the lang property. Thank you. That really helped. Reload. Detect called with DEDE, and we see it's German now. Yay! It did not set this one because it's now DEDE instead of just DE. Bit annoying. But we can easily fix that, I think. We don't even need to do it asynchronously. At least not immediately. Dot slice 0, 2. It doesn't include the end, right? But not including the character indicated by the end. Yeah. So this now says DE. Perfect. Nice. So that's one step further. One step closer. What we want. Now we have two options. We allow it to customize again, or we just say, well, whatever your system language is, we take that. Which might be suboptimal because somebody might be more proficient in something like German than English, but actually the mother language is a it's a completely different one. So in that case, they would want to choose German, but they don't want to set their system to German, or their mother language, let's say Russian, for example. And then, but they are forced to use English instead in the current setup. So to change that, we need to persist the language. Suppose in this case I would just use async storage directly, which we have already included if I'm not mistaken. Async storage. Yeah, there it is. So user community packages. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Async storage. One, I guess. Since it's only a string, it should be fairly easy. Can you show me the documentation, please? I think it's just 1 or 2 API usage. Imported. We cache it. Async storage.set item language LNG. Are these namespaced? React Native async storage namespace. So let's use daily questions / language as a key to set this, and once we initialize a no-op function that returns undefined regardless of the argument receives. Wait, init. What does init actually do? Detector option. Must return detected language. So I suppose we make this async after all. Now. Make this async after all. We have a callback here, which is a function that receives a language. And we try to do first of all this. And now we go to async storage, we get the item, which is called what he says. Persisted lang storage key, he says. Get the item. Oh, persisted. We need to await this. Think. What do we need to do? Thens. Maybe we need to do then. And now const cache lang. This, it might be null. And we call the callback with this instead. So we load it from storage. If it is there, we use it and pass it to the detect callback. Otherwise, we detect it again. And then this cache user language should get called, if I get this correctly. Set the language to the cached language, and then we are good. And somewhere else, we use this persist lang storage key to set the language and then save it. If we change the language. To do override that item on. Maybe we don't even need to. We will see. Not sure whether this will work. Maybe we have to do Then we said English seems to just be working hard. Shouldn't have removed all the controller. It did save the Japanese. It just worked, right? I think. I think it just works now. Which is more or less elegant, I would say. So it's English, perfect. We set it to Japanese. Shut it down. We change the language of the system to English, for example. We should still see Japanese now. Yeah, perfect. So apparently whenever we call in our settings, which select, we call somewhere change language i18n.change language with the language that we want. And apparently this also re-triggers cache user language, which then sets the this key. Can we await this? Okay. Then if I completely remove this, we should still fall back to this here, which means currently it's set to not German. Now it's set to German. Completely reset the cache. Storage. Bams, bams. And it is. We restart the app. We should now auto detect German again. I hope so. Nachtmodus. Yeah. It worked. It just works. It just works. It just works. Sweet. That means we have language detection completely covered with this fun stuff. Very nice. Very happy about this. And we didn't even need to use Redux at all. I mean, we do persistence, but these are simple enough that I'm not sad about it, let's say. Like, even though it uses a slightly different pattern. So, feature, general feature. Language detection and persistence. Bams. There we go. We've got that one covered. Can remove this part. And that's it. Well, I mean, we can reduce remove the Redux part and just say persistence, because that we have now. Translate the default questions, and I think the next part that I want to do. Let me check the time here. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, let's try to translate the default questions. This will be slightly more complicated, I think. Default questions. Oh yeah, this will be more complicated. This will be more complicated. So the default questions are currently, when you open the app for the very first time, you already have a selection of questions. Yeah. We can also look at them in a complete list here, like so. For example, goals, did I do my best to set clear goals today? Progress, did I do my best to make progress towards my goals today? And so on. Now, these should also be in the user language, at least at the very beginning. As soon as they customize them, they should not be translated anymore. Going to be tough. So when we start the app, we have our Redux store. Where is it? I think it's question slice. That one? Question slice. And inside of here, we have as an initial state, we just set the default questions. So far, so good. So the thing that one would hope to be able to do is, well, just translate this kind of stuff here, right? That would be amazing. And of course the title as well, right? That would be amazing if we could do that, but I feel we cannot. Why? Because I don't know whether we actually have access to this fun stuff already. Although if we do it like that, that might actually work. It's a bit ugly, but it might actually work. No, it won't work. What? It might work. Let's try. IIT next. .t. It might actually work. So we need to go to our translations. Let's say default questions : goals. Goals long. What he says. Put in the comma. And now we need to do this in English actually. Up there. Now we can put it also inside of here, so we can say Ziele. Habe ich heute mein Bestes gegeben, um mir klare Ziele zu setzen? Question mark. And the same we do for Japanese. Yo, Tiki. Yes. Yo. 具体的な目標をThis translation will be more complicated. Open for きちんとプランニングをするために具体的な目標を作る Let's keep it simple for now. 作るために I think I have to change them again at some point and double check with the native speaker. 作るために頑張りました。だか question mark. Okay. And now might be lucky that it actually works. We of course have to use them here. So this is goals and default questions colon goals, I think. Translations. Default question colon goals. Yep, good. This one is default questions colon goals long. And now, since it's persisted, I have to clear the cache and storage. Done. Goodbye. Let's open the app once more. Let's see whether it worked. Oh, it crashed. But that is actually just Expo being Expo. That was not because of us, that was actually just because of Expo being Expo. The music stopped. So this has translated into German. It crashed again. Expo is crashing. So why do I know that Expo is actually crashing? Usually you would have like a pop-up up here, this one. And sometimes it doesn't come, and then the complete app crashes in that case. So it didn't work. Yeah, this is German. But this is still in English. Probably the reason being, so it defaults to the fallback language, I guess. And when we call this, it most likely has the language being set to English still. Language at time of initializing the default questions. And these default questions are going to be static. Unfortunately, we cannot really change the timing of initialization. Currently it's German, but that doesn't say anything about when it actually started. So let's remove all of this fun stuff again. Start. I suppose it will say English now. Undefined. Yeah, undefined meaning it takes the fallback language, which is English, or at least any static language, but not the one that we actually want. So that doesn't work. What alternatives do we have here? We can override the default questions immediately. As soon as we have a language detected, we try to override the default questions. That would work. What alternatives do we have? Let's write this down. So translating the default question is very complicated. Statically translate with I18 and next.t of goals. This does not work. So now, then alternative one. On first open, after language detection finished, set translate the title, set the questions with translated title and long question. Not ideal, I would say. Because in particular, then we have to listen now to I18 next, which I would like to avoid. The dependency of our questions on I18 next. Other than that, we can add translation key to default questions and use it if existent. That would be an option. Good. So, like, something like this. Title translation key this, and the title is the goals. But that won't work either. Or this will make display complicated because we have multiple places where we display it. And we have to remember to translate it in all those places. What's the best way to do this? Translating statics, but static content is always complicated. Or dynamic content is fairly complicated. Not sure whether we will find a solution in due time. I guess we leave that as an open research question. And other than that, we did make some progress on the translations. I'm fairly happy with, or very happy actually, with the language detection. And we know that, well, actually the hardest part, again, a dynamic part to translate, we already have finished. So fairly happy with what we were able to do in this 1.5 hours. I thank you so much for joining. We will of course push this. And then I say thank you so much for joining here in the TypeScript Tea Time. Hope to see you next time. If you've liked what you've seen, feel free to follow so you won't miss it. Regular time is Wednesdays, Central European summertime, 18 to 20 o'clock. But this week I won't be there. Please be aware of that. So this is a kind of the last stream this week. Maybe on next weekend I will be back. Yeah. With that, I thank you so much for being here, for spending time with me, and hope to see you again. Goodbye, everybody. Have a nice day and great week.